All right, y'all, we're back. I've actually been hard at work getting all of the evolutions done, but I figured I would bulk record at the end and split them up into 9 different videos. Well, eight, nine counting Eevee, which is going to have its own video, but I'm actually going to be covering the evolutions as a whole in this video, and then I'll talk about Eevee if that makes sense. What I will say is that Eevee is technically, so like, for example, this video will be kind of like your, oh, this answers random questions you have about random stuff, like, oh, why are there, well, I'll probably talk about the stats actually for individual ones, but like evolution method, that kind of stuff, I'll be more in depth about that. And also technically Eevee is viable because of like extreme elo boost, but I wouldn't use it. But if you like fucking adore Eevee, then go for it, I guess. I mean, I know there's a lot of people. That's another thing with these mons is that they're like big fan favorites. So um, I personally don't really see the appeal. I mean, they're cute and some of them are pretty cool looking, but I don't know. They're just kind of boring to me. I think maybe also the oversaturation doesn't help. Um, but yeah, that's about it for the introductory stuff, and I'll get into the Eevee. So Eevee itself um, is, well, something I want to say is that all of the evolutions are pretty much, well, they're all great now. Obviously they keep up with all of the other Pokemon in the hack. I'm trying not to spoil anything because number one, you guys can just check out the sheet if you're curious, and number two, I want to save it for the actual video. Sorry, for the actual individual videos. So yeah, Eevee itself retains the ability that adaptability, which obviously makes total sense for it and it's useful. So it evolves at level 30 now, with a gem during a specific time of the day, and that might seem weird, the day part. That's not in my control. Basically, if you guys don't know already, I'd have removed stone evolutions and whatnot because number one, those are not controllable as to when you can obtain them outside of shops because how would I explain it? Like, it wastes Pokemart space to put those in shops, and then there are a lot of stones that are static items on the ground or gift items, and I can't change those. I cannot change the roster of those items or whatever the hell I'm trying to say. So that's annoying, and therefore I have made all evolutions either level up or gems, with literally like one exception being the Hitmons, and that's only because nothing else made sense. And even those three are still using items that are actually battle items first and evolution items second. So the gems, although they are nerfed in Gen 7 to be a 1.3 boost, this can be a little bit better. Although they are nerfed, it doesn't change the fact that they're still useful battle items, especially with like Unburdened and stuff. And so they don't waste Pokemon space by existing. I considered doing the berries actually would work really well, like Roselli, all that kind of stuff. But I hope I have enough item slots for both the berries and the gems because I do like the gems. I want the gems to stay because of Unburden and all that. And there's a bunch of other things that the gems are useful for too. So that's the main reason I want, Unburden, Acrobatics, Thief, blah, 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 blah. So that's why I want to keep them. That being said, that's why they evolve with the gems. And as for why that is then requiring me to do it while daytime and nighttime is because in the files, held item evolutions are handled like I can't think of any right now off the top of my head, but there's definitely some that aren't trade. There's some that are day or nighttime. I'm just blanking right now for some reason. Let me look it up. All held item evolutions, I guess, is what I would be typing in. All held item evolutions. Directly used held. Trade. Where's the level up? Happiny. Okay, so I wasn't bugging out. I was gonna say it's for Weavile and Gliscor and stuff. Okay, yeah. So Weavile, Gliscor, and Chansey were the only ones who evolved that way in the vanilla games. And so the only thing that's programmed to the files is day or night. There is no just evolve with held item. It's only day or night. And most times when I've done that, like for example, I'll find the quickest example here. Electabuzz, right? Like, oh, evolves with fighting gym level 40. So that I'm just putting both day and nighttime in the files because there's room, but there's only a maximum of 8 slots and there are 8 evolutions, so I have to pick either day or nighttime for each evolution, which for the most part isn't too confusing. The only 2 that are nighttime are Umbreon and Glaceon. The rest of them are just daytime. So I think both of those make perfect sense to be nighttime because of their like counterparts. Leafeon's like a plant, blah blah blah, so Glaceon can be night, and then obviously Umbreon's nighttime. So yeah, that being said, that's why they evolve that way. If that seems weird, hopefully that answers your questions. Stat-wise, Eevee will be totally good until level 30. It has a solid speed stat and usable 55-55 offenses. When you combine that with adaptability or versatility, it's not bad. It also has a respectable 65 base special defense. So you could, if you really, really wanted to, use a Violite Eevee. If you really wanted to, like, if you just fucking love Eevee, you can use it. It's not bad, but it's not great. I mean, it's still, you know, blah. Also, the evolutions are so powerful that it's like you're really losing out. But what you don't lose out on is like late game, for example, if you want to use Extreme Evo Boost Eevee with Baton Pass, that's excellent. That is truly excellent. Like, it's really good. So I mean, you guys already know what that does. It gives you +2 to all your stats, and then you can also Baton Pass that away. And although I did quote unquote nerf Baton Pass to be negative priority, although I wouldn't really describe that as a nerf, more so just a rebalance, because it actually lets mons essentially that's like teleport. That's like Gen 8 teleport. So it's a switch move. It's a switch move that's minus priority, and it also balances out how overpowered speed passing would be otherwise. So I really like that change. So yeah, Eevee will be pretty bulky, especially if you're running Evo Boost, and then you can just blah blah blah, you know, switch out and give it to an ally. Otherwise, it has really good utility moves all across the board, and then you know, adaptability, secret power / headbutt / quick attack / swift is strong. You actually have return, which is no longer a DM, but it's a powerful move to have on Eevee. And you got some other stuff like double edge and hyper beam, all that crap. Some weird ones, Nasty Plot and Swords Dance. I think if like weird, cute little pixie babies like Togepi and shit can get Nasty Plot, then I can give it to other little pixie babies for the most part. Not all of them. Some of them it feels really weird, but like with Eevee, like, you know, he's a mischievous little fucker, so I can totally see Nasty Plot. Swords Dance as well. Therefore, all of the evolutions have all of these moves. So every single move here that you see, the evolutions can all learn. Although, you will learn Charm and like Hoodwink on those useful moves before you evolve, which is useful. But after that, you're keeping Eevee longer. So I would say it's potentially worth it to keep Eevee until 33 to get you on some mons, on some of the bulkier evolutions to have. Otherwise, I wouldn't say it's really worth it. Besides for that's kind of it. I mean, like maybe you could do a meme thing of like reversal or something, but it's not really worth it otherwise. Kerfuffle could be okay. I love that fucking name. It's so good. Such a good name. But overall, you're not really keeping Eevee for any moves after that point. And then, of course, by TM, this is what Eevee gets, which, again, if you want to use a Violite Eevee, you can technically do that with like decent coverage with versatility. Like you have your normal stab, you have double kick and reversal and takedown for fighting moves, you have Shadow Ball for Ghost, you have U-turn for Bug, Iron Tail for Steel, and that's basically it. And then you have like Weather Ball and Natural Gift, all of which can change type. Although I'm actually not positive if those work with, versatility. I actually have a hunch that they don't, because the moves themselves are normal. Same. I know, like for example, I know Hidden Power doesn't work. I'm almost positive Hidden Power doesn't work with versatility, but somebody else can fact check me on that. I don't care enough right now to look into it because it's just Eevee. Technically, it's the only versatility mon right now, but there are obviously going to be more, much more. It just so happens that Eevee's the only one so far in Gen 1. But there will be more. Also, another thing, if you're wondering why I bothered putting all of the evolutions, even though only 3 of them are Gen 1 mons, it's because when the mon has an evolution from another generation, I have been putting it together just for convenience. So if the first evolution form is in that gen, then all of the evolutions will be in that gen's section or block. So the order is actually not exactly strict. And actually what I'm going to do at the end of all of these changes, which I actually did the math, it should take me about 6+ months, 6 to 8 months, depending on how much I keep on track and how much free time I have. When I'm done with all that, I'm actually going to reorder all of these mons into a custom quote-unquote Dooz dex. I know it's corny as hell, but it's going to be custom order. Actually, sorry, not even after all the mon changes are done. Actually, after wild encounters and static encounters and locations for mons are done, then I will be ordering mons in the order that you can obtain them. So it'll be like a custom dex, which is really cool, actually, in my opinion, because then you can like start off with all the, you know, you got your actual starters you can pick, and then you have all of like the Route 1, Route 2, blah, and you keep going. And it doesn't mean that the mons earlier on in the dex are weaker, not at all, because again, the whole point of the hack is that all the mons are strong. But yeah, and I'll keep both. Like, I'm not going to have the only order be my own custom order. I'll also have the regular numerical order or whatever as well. So yeah, not too much else to talk about with Eevee. I was debating making them a, here's what I'll also say is I was debating making them a combined video, but that video would be fucking insane how long it would be. Even if I would either have to rush them all to make the video not ridiculously long, or I would keep the video ridiculously long. And I just am not into that idea. And also the thumbnail, I don't want to use non-global link art, because like consistency, and then I also don't want to make a custom thumbnail with all global link art because that takes way too fucking long and it'll be super crowded, and I just don't feel like fucking doing that. I actually have figured out how to do timestamps now. I've noticed that it's you literally all you have to do is put timestamps in the description with a name next to it, and YouTube will automatically add them into the little bar at the bottom. I thought it was something more, but that's all you got to do. So for some videos I might end up doing that, but honestly, it's a lot of work. You know what you guys could do if you guys are very avid listeners and avid fans of my work? If you want, you can put it in the comment section and I'll put it in the description for other people. That's not me asking you to do my work for me, but you know, it would be nice because I have other things to do. These videos alone are already something that I don't have to do. I could just give no explanation for anything and never talk about it, but that's not fun. I want to fucking go over, you know, the work that I put in, and I want to go over the ideas, I want to go over the explanations, and I want to go over the strategies and all these cool shit, especially because a lot of it people might not immediately see just by looking at them on, especially when it comes to the strategic shit and the way the moves and abilities interact and all that stuff. So yeah, if anybody wants to do that, please let me know. I would really appreciate that. Maybe not for every video, but just if you're ever like watching these videos and you feel like giving me rough timestamps, literally all you have to do is type the timestamp in with the beginning and end time, and then put in the title for whatever it is. You know, like, oh, this is the introduction stuff, this is the abilities, this is the moves, this is. You could even make it funny. You could put like fucking random rants, whatever the hell you want to do. You know, so that would be really appreciated. But again, I don't expect that from anybody. So yeah, that's Eevee. Why am I on Ditto? There we go. That's Eevee. This is going to be a quick one. The other ones will be a little bit longer. But these will also be relatively quick individually because there isn't actually that much to cover in terms of logic for abilities for some of them. Some of them there's more than others. But what you guys will see in a second is that I gave them elemental abilities when possible, regardless of how well they interact with one another. Because they're the evolutions, they're like the embodiments of the typing, and I feel like logically, like soul-wise or spirit-wise, they should just have that, regardless of whether or not it's the best possible ability. Although in most cases it's a really good ability on them, but you know, there'll be cases where both combination is not that great. I'll talk about that in a little bit when I get to the ones that applies to. But yeah, thanks for listening to this one, and I will be actually what I'm gonna, if you're listening to this, I'm gonna be privating these videos until they're all done, and then I'll unprivate them. So you probably won't see these until they're all at the same time. So you can just pick and choose which one you want to watch, because I don't want to have to deal with people being like, "Oh, are you doing all the other ones now?" I try to just upload them all at once. So yeah, thanks for listening, and I will be getting to the other ones in 2 seconds. Oh, I meant to stop sharing. Why did I do that? And stop recording.